live mode. Want to welcome those of you that are going to be here for just a little bit with me tonight. Tonight we're talking episode number 520 tonight here. We're gonna go all the way back to change, the roots. We want to create change. You're tired of living the way you're living. You want to save your money. You want to stop the gamble. You want to stop the thing, whatever it is that you want to do. You really want to change. You're tired. You're tired. You're tired. I want to save my money. I don't want to lose my money. I want to help my family. I want to pay my bills. I want to make sure that my bank account, I have enough money for a rainy day. Santos, can you help me? I need some food for today. Santos, can you? Well, we're going to talk about change tonight. We're going to talk about the word change. And sometimes you got to go right back to the basics, right? Folks, welcome. Episode number 520. I am Santos Jr. here, temporarily out of my studio. I want to welcome those of you that are going to be here with me over the next 35-40 minutes. It's going to go by very quick. We got a few scriptures. I want to invite those of you that are here. If you're here, I want to invite you to subscribe. I'm going to invite you to comment. I'm going to invite you to share. If you know someone right now, that could use a word of encouragement, I'm going to ask you to share this video. I'm going to ask you to share this live. We're going back to the basics on the word change for just a little bit. And yes, we do have some proverbs that we're going to share. All right, I'm going to do my best to introduce those proverbs while I share and make sure that those of you that are here, you're aware we are doing a free PDF quit guide. If you want to stop the gamble, you want to quit the gamble in your life, you're freaking tired of the gamble, you need a quit guide, email me right here at YouTube. Well, Santos, maybe I need a little bit of more support. You have my support. If you get the free PDF guide and you need a question, you got something going on, all you got to do is email me. It's all in there for you. It's all included, free, no charge. All you got to do is just donate $7. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, right? Just kidding. But and I am going to ask to donate. Of course I am. But anyways, but most of all, we're doing the free book. All right? We got the free book. Listen, if you want this is a good tool. This is a tool right here. All right? It is a tool. Send me just shipping. Might be $8. Well, you can go to Amazon and pay more for it. All right? It's just a tool. You can rewrite the script if you want. Who knows? Maybe you can create a new book out of it. So we have that can help you be a little distraction but we're going to talk about change tonight, all right? We're going to talk about change. So again, subscribe, comment, like, and share. Do you know somebody that needs to hear a word of encouragement tonight? You know somebody. Do you know somebody? Come on, share, comment, like. We're going to talk about this word change. So welcome, buckle up, get inside, turn down your distractions. Turn them down, please. We only got about 30 minutes, 40 minutes or so. Everything's going to go by very quickly. And what are we doing here? Listen, don't waste your time. Don't waste your time. If you're meant to be here, be here. All right? Open up. We're going to talk about this word metamorphosis. What is the word metamorphosis? Where does it even come from? All right? To change, cambiar. It comes from a Latin word, to barter, to exchange. Would you think about the word change, right? Most people, oh man, I got to do this, I got to do the other thing. Santos, why are you talking about basics? Because sometimes you just need to go right back to the basics, right? Sometimes you just need to go right back to the beginning. Right back to the beginning of things. Right back to the beginning. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. We are going to focus on the word change. Again, this is episode number 520. I'm excited to be here with those of you. Listen, please support, comment, like, and share. We're going to do a couple more episodes on this topic of change. Cambiar, to barter, to exchange, to transform. All right? We're going to talk about this thing called metamorphosis, and I'm glad that I found my glasses. So I want to welcome those of you that are here. Laura, Antonio, Cameron, what is your story? Why are you doing this? Cameron, Napoleon Hill talked about why people don't change and called it drifting. Welcome, Cameron. Cameron Akers, welcome. You're welcome. What is your story and why are you doing this? That is a very, very good curiosity. I would encourage you, friend, to hang around for just a few minutes. We're talking about change, okay? And change isn't a shift. It is not a shift. It is actually, well, it is a shift in direction. Now, I'm going to read something real quick here in Romans chapter 12, verse 2. Actually, I don't even need to pick it up, but I can quote it. It says, "Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind." That's Romans in the New Testament, King James Version, Romans chapter 12, verse 2. It says, "Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, so that you can prove what is that good and acceptable will of God." Well, what are we talking about here? One of the reasons why people have a difficult time changing is because you don't clearly understand what change really is. You may not have a clear understanding of what change. Do I have a clear understanding of what I have a biblical perception of what true change is? That's what I have. God spoke about. He spoke about the word metamorphosis. We understand that word metamorphosis, it comes from another word, metamorpho. Metamorpho, which we get this beautiful scripture where Jesus was speaking to a man by the name of Nicodemus. And Nicodemus was a religious man. He knew about the Bible, somewhat about the Ten Commandments and other laws that they had. Jesus reminded Nicodemus, he said that unless a man, in John chapter 3, verse 3, he said, unless a man is born again, in the Greek, it means born from above. That's in the Greek. But we have it in the original King James Version Bible. It says that unless a man is born again, he cannot see the kingdom of heaven. Now, we are talking a little bit deeper about change. And this is basically the ultimate change. And I speak about this all the time because it is what's going to get anybody through the darkness, the sinful nature, the hatred, the Nicolaitan doctrines that are available like legions out there, convincing the minds of people into things that are just so far beyond what could be really merciful. And we are in a battle, folks. You are in a battle for change. There's so many distractions. Well, Santos, why are you talking about this Latin word to cambiar? It means cambiar, to change, right? Change means cambiar. Does it have another? It has another origin. Yeah, metamorphosis, John 3. Unless a man is born from above, as I mentioned in the Greek, you have to be born above. What does it mean? It means to be born of the water and born of the Spirit. Born of the water, born of the Spirit. So, and there's a couple of things here that I want to go over before I get too far here. But I want to really read this, and then I'm going to look at what you guys have to say here on this podcast, because it's our podcast. That means it's my podcast, it's your podcast, so it's our podcast, right? And we do have some moderators. I believe Jim is with us. So again, I want to welcome you guys, everybody that's here. But it's important that we understand what, why, like this person was asking, why are we here? What is my purpose to be here? Well, my purpose is to share change with people. Jesus answered, John 3:3, he said, Jesus answered and said unto him, verily, verily, I say unto thee, except a man, and he says it twice. When you say things twice, it's almost like it's important. Why would you say it twice? You want to make sure that the person is listening, right? Right? Twice. A man be born again, he cannot see the kingdom of God. Nicodemus says, how can a man be born when he is old, right? How can he enter the second time into his mother's womb and be born? Jesus answered, verily, verily, I say unto thee, except a man be born of water and of the Spirit, he cannot enter into the kingdom of God. That which is born of the flesh is flesh, and that which is born of the Spirit is spirit. Marvel not that I said unto thee, ye must be born again. Beautiful, beautiful chapter here. Beautiful verses. Man, when I'm feeling it, folks, I don't know about you guys, but when I'm feeling it and I can't go to the VA and I can't go to a family member, or I can't go to a friend, or I can't even go to myself, I go directly to prayer and I go directly to God and I say, you know what, Lord? I just don't know. But you do. You know it all together. You know it all together. Exactly. We're talking about change, folks, and we got to get back to basics. I'm telling you. You must get back to basics. Another thing about this is that the change is it's a gradual, right? We talked about this word metamorphosis. What does the word metamorphosis? So in the Latin, to change, it means to change means to transform, right? Cambiar, to change, to exchange, to barter, to change, right? To exchange. And what Jesus is speaking about in John chapter 3, a lot of people struggle with gambling. They struggle with drugs and alcohol and prostitution and pornography and a poor sense of self-attitude and what have you. Some people are struggling so horribly that some of them end up, they end up going past. That's kind of weird because God's in charge of everybody's life. But it's weird how some people walk through that door. I've had some friends walk through that door in very strange ways. It still puzzles my mind. The metamorphosis that God is speaking about that really transform an individual is something that happens from within, inside of the person. When Jesus said that a man or a woman must be born from above, in the original Greek, what he was saying is that you must be born from the inside. You have to be born from the inside. And if you're seeking change, but it's really not from the inside, you're trying to seek a different kind of change. It's from the outside. And metamorphosis means completely changed nature. Like a caterpillar. Caterpillar has a metamorphosis and it turns into a butterfly. It's a whole complete difference in nature. And I'm telling you, I believe that if you're going through this, you're going to feel something. You got to feel something. There's people that are claiming that they're learning all kinds of different things. Their eyes are being opened. Yeah. Be careful what is it that your eyes are being open to. Be careful. Is it truth? Is it straight and narrow? Is everybody else doing that thing? How many others are following that thing, right? Because we think, well, man, there's only 3 over there following that belief or that doctrine that I can believe, that I can overcome gambling in 7 days or less. There's only 4 people that are walking down that road. But man, look at the other road. They believe that it's going to be really hard for them to overcome gambling, and it might even take a lifetime. And there's thousands of them on that road. It's a wide road. Which road do I want to go on? Welcome, Legacy Mindset. By the way, moderators, if you're in here and you see a comment or something that is not appropriate, Jim, welcome. Thank you for being a part of this. Again, let me see if I can get some questions and some answers. We're talking about change, folks. And I don't care who says what about change. We must get back to basics. We have to get back to basics. Eric says electric companies are greedy. Okay, I have been changing who I blame, and it is me. Staying away from bad habits. That's a big... Yeah, see, staying away from bad habits is also a physical thing, right? That's good. I'm not saying it's bad, but it's a physical thing. We must go beyond those if we truly want to experience. There is a wonderful, wonderful life that we can experience here on planet Earth. I believe it's here. It starts here. And I believe it goes into eternity. That life is spoken about quite a bit in the Bible. Being born again, born from above. Our nature is changed, is metamorphosis, things that, for instance, 2 Corinthians chapter 5, I believe it's 2 Corinthians chapter 5 verse 17 says, therefore, if any man be in Christ, he is a new creature, or he is a new creation. Old things are passed away. Behold, all things have become new. That is 2 Corinthians, I believe, 2 Corinthians 5:17. Therefore, if any man be in Christ. That's in the New Testament of the Bible. So it talks about a renewal or an exchange, but that exchange comes from the nature inside the person. It's almost like you get a jump start all over again on the inside. Yet, you're still carrying around this body that contains a skeletal system, a neurological system that is actually phenomenal. In fact, you never realize how much electricity you have. People talk about electricity, and I don't know if you're aware of this. You think about, you have a lot of electricity inside your body. You have a lot of electricity inside your body. Now, I can tell you this for a fact. This is not fiction. It's not myth. It's not something I read in a magazine or some doctor told me. I can tell you from experience in my own body that you have large amounts of electricity inside, flowing inside your body. They are contained. They are contained. If those elements of your body were to get out of line, and sometimes they do, it's called pinching of the nerves of the spinal area. You begin to get little, like a taste of what it feels like to have that electricity out of control in your body. Let me share with you, folks. Change. We can create change. We can talk about change. We can, the way that it has to be done There has to be an awareness. There has to be an understanding. Okay. Again, why are we here? Why am I here tonight? Why am I sharing these why am I talking here? Why am I going on talking about the Proverbs and what have you, and all of these things, the tree of life, the logos, being born. I believe that if you become born from above, you're not going to struggle with a gambling addiction. You may for a little bit. You may, but eventually you will overcome it. Because, again, it's in your nature. All right, who's got questions? Is anybody in here interested in this Latin word called cambiar? Is anybody interested in that kind of word? Are you interested in change, in going back to basics sometimes? Do you ever feel like you're distracted? Like you just need somebody to just break it down, man? Just break it down, man. Just little bite-sized pieces, man. Do you ever feel that way? You start thinking about things, and then you don't even know what the word means. Oh, I want to go. I remember I wanted to go eat something, and I don't know if it was food or something, and then I never experienced it before. Listen, if you know somebody right now, if you're not subscribed to this channel, I'm inviting you to subscribe. We're going to do another Sunday episode, and we're going to talk about change. We're going to focus on change, because the more that you focus on change, guess what happens, folks? Well, Santos, then that means that we're all going to change. No. I don't believe that at all. I believe there's a possibility. There's a possibility. Right. Focus will drive you. Romans. I got to read this, folks. I got to read this real quick. Let me put it together here. And I don't even have my glasses on, but I'm going to read it anyways. Romans chapter 12. I beseech you, this is the New King James Version Bible that I'm reading here. And such a blessing to be able to read God's word every single day. Such a blessing. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, you present your bodies a living sacrifice, wholly acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service. God is not asking you to run in front of the milk truck. God is not asking you to run in front of the truck full of cows that's getting ready to go into and to be made into burger patties. When God speaks about by the mercies of God that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, God is not asked. Well, you know, God can ask us to do some very strange things at times. I will say that. But I don't know if he's calling anybody to run in front of the wine truck. Oh, you know, I remember somebody said that alcohol killed her husband. Alcohol killed her husband, but he didn't drink a day of his life. He ran across the street to the store to get some bread, and the Guinness truck ran him over. The Guinness truck, right? Guinness beer. So, in essence, alcohol killed him. Anyways, I don't know if anybody found that too funny. But be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. There's an antichrist out there, folks, that would keep you in gambling. There's an antichrist out there that would keep you, there's an antichrist out there that would keep you involved in thinking that you are so washed up that you will never escape. Oh, there is an antichrist out there. In fact, many people are still waiting for a new one to come out. Go out there surf the net and prove me wrong. Thousands and thousands of churches and thousands of cult leaders and messengers are all waiting for the Antichrist. Well, folks, let me share something with you. He's already here. He was the one in the garden behind the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Remember God said in the beginning, he said, don't eat, don't. Because if you do, this is going to happen in that day. And what happened? They did. By the way, subscribe, comment, like, and share. I appreciate that. We're talking about change, the Latin word. Let me see if you guys are. Laura, welcome. I don't know. I'm trying to see if I can see some of these comments, and I apologize. Demonic. It feels demonic. There is dark spirits in those people. Ray says. They are very negative and spiteful. Is this helping? Is this live feed tonight helping somebody out there? Is this making a difference for your focus? Somebody. I want to see if what we're doing here is not a waste of time. Let's see if what I believe God is having me to do here and speaking truth, because I don't want nothing but truth. A lot of people want to try, I mean, am I a religious? Well, some people can call me religious. Call me religious if you want to. I don't go to church. Would I go to a church? If I went to a church that I felt was very, very faithful to what the Bible teaches, to the doctrines of the Bible, then I probably would go there and try to serve fellow brethren, even though I know that churches are filled with people that are not. I've been there, I've done that. That I know of, I have not met anyone that has proven to me that a church that they go to is worthy of my presence. Number one, they're not going to like me there because I question things. If I don't agree with what's being done, if something seems weird, if it's something that I experienced in the past, maybe it was a Pentecostal church, and now I know all of that stuff is weird, I stay away. I gently pray and ask God, look, Lord, I need your help every day. Right? I know that without your presence, without your mercy, without your true wisdom, I know for a fact that I'm going to screw it up. And folks, sometimes I do. Even with prayers like that to God, while I'm waiting for God, right, to help me in some way, or maybe God is already helping me, but I'm just not seeing it. Oh, I don't want it that way. Right? God's answering a prayer, but we don't like the way God is answering our prayer. We don't like it. It reminds me of stories in the Bible. King David. God had a purpose and a plan, and King David ended up killing one of his top generals and many others by sending him to the front lines of the war that was going on. And in the meantime, King David was lavishing a woman by the name of Bathsheba. Bathsheba was married to one of the top generals that belonged to the army of King David. Now, King David was a man of God. The Bible says so. And you can read about how he would cry in prayers, and he would throw himself on the ground and weep and throw dust on his head. And King David did some very strange things that you read about in the Bible. How dirty he felt. How literally how dirty inside he felt. You can read about these things. And yet King David made the mistake of taking that woman Bathsheba while she was showering. Imagine she was a beautiful specimen, maybe there in that wherever King David was there, that area of the geography, was looking from his palace, just looking beyond his palace on an evening, and there's a woman showering. Who knows, maybe she was singing music, maybe some not too far. He could maybe even smell the aroma of the of the petals or whatever it was that she would shower with back in those days in the biblical times. But King David had to have her. His senses, his triggers, man, he just couldn't resist. He had to have that woman, man, and he set up her husband, and he had the husband killed, and a few of his partners all the way there at the front line at the battle. And you can read about the story of the child that was born out of that and other situations that King David. So what am I saying? I'm saying that even men that understand the Bible or even share Bible truths can also make major mistakes. So that's why I say to myself, I want to be careful what I say, what comes out of my mouth. But I do believe that anyone that is born, this true change, this metamorphosis, can overcome a lot of things that maybe they believe they could not ever, if that makes sense. All right. Anyways, let me see what's going on here. Take my glasses off. I hope somebody's with me here. Thank you for the likes. I appreciate that. I don't know if anybody's sharing this, but you know what? Let me see if I can share. I'm going to actually share. I shared the live. Am I coming back? Yeah, I'm here. Let me see. Am I live? Okay, I'm live. I just shared the live. By the way, if you guys find this we're going to talk again a little bit more. Our time's almost up, but we're going to talk about this again. All right. The word to change, to be born from above, is metamorphosis. That's true change, folks. That's from the inside. From the inside. Not necessarily now. You can ban yourself from casinos. You can have somebody take care of your finances. You can do this thing or the other thing. That's physical. Those are physical changes. What I'm speaking about is internal change, a transformation. And folks, I can't do this by myself, and I don't believe you can do this by yourself either. I believe that this is an act of God's mercy. Totally. So I would never say, hey, say a prayer with me. Sure, we can say a prayer together, but I would never say, hey, say a prayer with me, confess Jesus in your heart, believe in your this and the other thing, and you shall be saved, and you're going to be on your way. No way, Jose. No way. No way. I would say, look, pray to God, friend. What's your struggle? I got struggles just like you, man. You do, Santos? Are you struggling with gambling and you struggling with pornography or masturbation and all that stuff? No, not necessarily. That's not my struggle because I've overcome a lot of things in my life. We all have struggles. See, we don't need to know what your struggle is, right? You just need to know, you need to know what your struggle is. You need to have an awareness in order to create change. This has been episode number 520. I have been your host for a little bit over 30 minutes out of Stockton, California. I want to thank you. Thank those of you that have been here with me. Again, back to basics. We're so distracted. Tell us about some of your trials, Santos. I speak about them. I speak about them all the time. How did you start getting confidence? We're bigger than the lie. Ray says, how did you start getting confidence? You were bigger. Well, how did I start it? I believe it has to be with God's grace. If you want something, if you want to find something, if you want to engage, if you want to build something, you're going to find a way, right? Right now, I'm in a situation where I can't work. I haven't worked. Listen, folks, I haven't worked for like 3 years. Not that I haven't wanted to, but I have I have been dealing with body inflammation and different things, and it's gotten more challenging. I'm going to say that. In fact, there's been times where I've been sleeping in my car, right? I've had an opportunity to be on a bed, and I'm getting a little bit better with my metamorphosis, right? I'm getting better with my my barter, my change. But I haven't been able to work for over 3 years, and I'm thinking, okay, I've been within therapy for the last several years. I still have ongoing therapy. I'm going to have to go through more therapy now because I have other things that I'm dealing with. So what can I do? Well, I can drive around in my vehicle possibly. I can't really grab items out of my vehicle that well. I can possibly drive around maybe if that, sure. I can't be on my feet 8 hours a day. I can't be on my feet for 4 hours a day. That might last maybe a day and a half, maybe if that. So I've got all of these physical challenges that I'm doing, that I'm working through, right? Along with other temptations that come. People say, well, when does temptation hit you? Temptation hits you when you're at your low points, right? You go through trauma in life. Why do you go through these things? I don't know. Why do we go through trauma? Why are little children abused early on in life? I don't know. Why are little girls abused early on in life? I don't know, but it happens, right? It's happened to me. And I share my story to tell people that there's always a way, but you have to be willing. You have to be open. You have to be open to the ways of the Lord. And my call to action is, if there's one thing that you can call out in your life, one thing that you can start thinking about from today forward, one thing that you can say, you know what, man, I think it's time. Like Jim says, I think it's time. Uh, uh, Laura says, hey, y'all. All right. Laura says, hey there. Mark says, I'm here, Santos. Or is it out of time? That says, I'm here. There's one community member that says, always, I don't know how much of my video he or she watches, but I'm here. Every time I post the videos, I'm here. Me too, or me three. Anyways, gotta wind down, folks. I've already given you guys a call to action. We're gonna talk a little bit more about this metamorpho, right? Change. How do we begin change? How do we begin believing? It's about focus, right? It is about focus. All right. Some people are making $100,000 a month with AI. There's people doing all kinds of stuff. How do they? Yeah. All right. I got my strap on. Strapper. All right. Who else is in here? Let me see. Anybody else got a question about the word change? The Latin word. My church. Laura says, my church, you would. You sure, Laura? I don't know. I question doctrine like I question myself. Blaze Journey. This live is very helpful. Thank you, Blaze Journey. I appreciate you for sharing that. To God be the glory. Great things he has done. People need the Lord. Develop into the person I know. Antonio says, vamos a cambiar. Para bien, para bien. La gente necesita el Señor. Cuando van a realizar que su tiempo se va a acabar, la gente necesita el Señor. People need the Lord. Laura says, people need the Lord. When will we realize that we must give our lives People need the Lord. The last pastor that I was working with, he threw me to the curb, is what he did, because I questioned the sermon. I questioned the soup, sandwich, and the sermon. I have nothing against the church. There's many churches. In fact, there's the Church of Satan, Anton LaVey. I've studied a little bit of him, and the wolf. What do they call themselves? The Federation of Wolves. Anyways, his name is Anton LaVey. Anton LaVey, and he was one of the founders, and his sister Lisa. They were the founders of the church. I don't know if it's still in San Francisco, but I believe it originated from San Francisco. It was the Church of Satan, another Antichrist. Yeah, Anton LaVey. Look him up, Anton LaVey, and fact check me and see if I'm bullshitting you. Anton LaVey. There was Lisa, the Wolf, or the Wolverine Federation, I believe, of warlocks, something of that nature. And I mean, this guy, Anton LaVey, if you look at him, he doesn't look anything like I do. Nothing like I do. But he almost looks like for some reason, if you look at this guy's picture, Anton LaVey, he looks like he's had I don't know, it looks like he's had his ears clipped. Kind of like dogs. Dogs have their ears clipped to make themselves look like, I don't know, kind of this image. I could be wrong about Anton LaVey and the first church of the Satanists there in San Francisco. Anyhow, yeah, that's a wonderful song, right? People need the Lord. So any questions, folks? I'm just looking for questions here. I tell you, I don't know about you guys, but I really had some thinking when I was putting this thing together, and there's a lot that maybe I could have said, and hopefully the next episode, episode number 521, we'll go a little bit deeper. Maybe we'll look at, what does the caterpillar go through? The word metamorphosis, to be born again, to be born from water, right? To be born from the spirit. But the caterpillar goes through a massive, massive transformation that we don't even realize. There's probably growing pains. They say we have growing pains when we're children. I remember my wife was telling me, what's going on with so-and-so, with my daughter. I'm like, she's going through growing pains. I'm like, what the heck? What? I don't remember any of that. If I did, I must have went through it like nothing, because I don't remember any growing pains that I remember. But what's weird today, folks, is we remember as we get older, we are going through growing pains. Isn't that interesting? You go as a child, maybe you remember that. I don't. But as an adult, as you start becoming a senior, you go through growing. Yes. You look like you're doing better. Out of time, I'm doing a lot better. I have laid off the pills. They tore up my stomach. I lost a lot of weight. I wasn't eating at all. I said, folks, listen, I need to build these 24-inch pythons. I need to build them back up. This one has atrophy. I'm afraid to show it. No, I'm just kidding. Look at that. It's got to be, you got to feed those 24-inch pythons. Maybe 16, maybe 17. You never know. Maybe 14. 14-inch pythons? Come on now. Anyways, I started lifting a little bit. I can do 20 pounds. I can do a lot more than 20 pounds with this hand right here. So if you know, get near me, you get a knuckle sandwich. You ever get a knuckle sandwich? All right, peanut butter knuckle sandwich. There. No, I'm just kidding. This one here, this is like all, I'm feeling electricity all through my hand. This is some trippy ass shit, folks. Like I talked about earlier, electricity in your body, man, if you know how much electricity you got in your, once it gets out of alignment and you start feeling that electricity, I still have it pretty much, but I've gotten a little bit better. I'm getting more flexible, a little bit more movement, because I've been doing, again, doing a few things, squats and imaginary curls, etc. I was doing that earlier on TikTok. Imagine 30 pounds. Imagine you're curling 30 pounds. Imagine. Use your imagination. 30 pounds. 30 pounds. Anyways, even using your imagination, folks, change, cambiar. All right? Anyhow, so thank you for that. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Yeah. But I've laid off the tablets and stuff, so the pills. I went through a couple of rounds of steroids. Okay, I will admit I like the steroids. I don't like the way they taste, but I do like the way they make me feel. They seem to get my appetite really, really active. And but I'm not taking anything, but I got gummies and I have my peace pipe. I admit I have a peace pipe. I do every once in a while. I try to keep it very minimum because, again, you have to really do everything in even if people drank alcohol, I guess if you drank maybe in some kind of moderation, it probably wouldn't be too bad. And I'll tell you one thing about smoking that I've noticed is that I don't think it's so much of the of the it's more of the inhalation and the exhaust, right? You're inhaling and you're exhaling. I think that's why people smoke a lot, especially people that smoke cigarettes. They're after that, because I noticed during my high levels of pain during this experience that I hope I never experience ever again, even though I'm still working on my nervous system. It's not fixed. Um, those levels of pain, I've never had before. That's a whole different, what I don't know if anybody can realize what nerve, like when you got sciatic, right? You have sciatic that's kind of, it's not permanent, but it comes and goes, and sometimes it stays with you for a little bit. That's called sciatic. That's an electric feeling. It's like it's almost like getting like being plugged, like having a plug into the wall, but that cord is frayed. It's got a cut in it, and it's causing a friction somewhere in between the outlet and the unit. You feel a friction, like an electrical friction going on, and that's what sciatica feels like, going down your legs. When you have pinched nerves in your neck and it's shooting down your arms, that's a whole different pain level right there. That is completely elevated. I don't know, maybe because I have felt it at levels that I've never experienced it before. It was horrible. Maybe it's because it's in multiple areas. I guess if it's just in one area, maybe a minor area, you probably won't feel it that much. But when you have it in several areas, man, I'll tell you honestly, I remember laying in bed Many nights over the past few months, literally crying tears, praying and asking God for him to intervene, if it was possible for him to intervene in that experience that I was going through. Honestly, I did. I remember praying those prayers. And did I feel his, you know, there was times, I tell you, I got through it. I got through them. So I got through them because I'll tell you, there was times where I literally, this is not a lie, man. I literally wanted to take my arm off, just pull it right out of the socket. In fact, several occasions, I'm going to say this and I'm going to shut down because it's a horrible experience. I went to about 13 emergency rooms in about a month. About 13 emergency rooms. And the last couple of emergency rooms that I went to, I was in such pain that I had to walk outside and through the lobby nonstop. And I would kind of screech when I'd get out to the parking lot because I didn't want to do that in the lobby. Of course, they would have probably fucking took me away to some other room, someplace. But as soon as I walked through the lobby and people were just watching me, because I could see people, little kids, and they could see me wandering back and forth. I could not freaking sit down. That pain level was fucking beyond, probably beyond a level 10. And all I could do, I remember I was there for about an hour, wandering back and forth and yelping, out there in the parking lot. I'd go out there and I'd freaking scream that I'd come back in, get a little comfort. And then finally they took me back there. Hey, we got to take you back there and put you in that room. They took me back there because they got tired of seeing me wandering and, yelping out in front of the hospital. That was the last time that I felt really, really bad pain, a couple of weeks ago. So yes, I'm doing a lot better. I'm very grateful. I had a nerve conduction test. That was a little painful because, again, they shoot you with electricity. Anyways, it's so now I got to figure out, they got to figure out whether they got to operate, which I don't think they will. I hope not. But I've been this way for 3 months, going on the third month now, and I've got a lot of loss of strength. My fingers are numb. My hand is numb. I can't do a whole lot with this hand, so if I can't cook for myself, I can't do things. I have to, whatever I eat, I got to have it pre-made or what have you. That's how challenging it is, and unless you got somebody that's making food for you, it's really difficult, folks. It is. That's how, especially being right-handed, I could do things with my left hand, but I don't even want to talk about that. But that's what I'm going through. Anyways, it's all in God. It's all in God. So my feet are numb above the knee. I can't even walk. Wow. That is something else right there. Yep. Numb feet. Yep. My dad slipped and he wouldn't walk, but then again, he had dementia too. I tell you, man, getting older is, once you hit like 55, 57, 58, you definitely start feeling things, in other words, when your sensors start going off, you're kind of right there really monitoring it. Hey, what is this going on? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I just had one, nerve conduction, and it's like a fork, and they stick you there, and they stick you there, and you already feel electricity. And my arm's still hurting from that because it's like they shock you. And then they stick a needle in you, right? Well, I've had acupuncture, which doesn't feel too bad. But man, one of those needles, when she poked me, I definitely felt it. One area wasn't too bad. And she goes, yeah, it's definitely in your neck. You got problems going on in your neck. I can't see your MRI because they didn't upload it yet. I did it a couple days ago. And so that's what I'm doing here, folks. I got to get off the airwaves. Thank you for being with me. Kevin, Laura, Keith, Jim, Race, Antonio, out of time. Oh, Mark wasn't here tonight. We missed him. But all of you folks that were here, Eric, Blaze Journey, thank you guys for hanging out. Antonio, vamos a cambiar, seguro. I thought the others would be here. I get a lot of people that say, man, legacy mindset, I need your help, man. Please help me. Hey, can you feed me for a day? Can you give me some food? Can you? And they come on here and I say, hey, meet me live on Sunday. And obviously they're not serious about what they're doing. But I'm here to help people that are serious, that really want. Let me see who else was here that I want to acknowledge before I leave these wonderful airwaves and retreat to eating a healthy meal somewhere. Maybe it's boiled eggs with some other stuff that I should have eaten and I forgot all about it. All right, folks. Cameron. There you go, Cameron Akers. All right, folks. With that said, I will see you next Wednesday. All right. Remember to keep support this mission. If you feel supported, support the mission, support me. I'm going to do my best to support you. And we will be back live, on the mobile phone live, until I get my place, my studio back and my shit together. See, this is what happens in life when you make poor decisions. And I'm not saying that my decisions have cost me, but trauma because of other people also will cost you. So remember that. The trauma of other people, if you're not careful through life, you try to help others, sometimes you put yourself in a predicament, and the trauma of other people will also hurt you. So with that said, may God have mercy on us. May God give us truth as much as possible. May God correct us when we are completely wrong about something. May God correct me, especially if I'm teaching from the Bible, that the Bible speak about the Logos and the tree of life. All right, until my next one, folks.